Um, We've got a few things on the agenda today, and some that are last minute issues, which are not for informational sake only. Everybody's had a chance to take a look at the minutes from CPF from our January meeting.
I just had a couple issues. Regarding West Neck Preserve, he advised that there are likely no turtle presence in the area being plowed. Additionally, they will plow again in the spring until the mugwort is eradicated. After this, the meadow will be planted.
You want to add that in?
Yes, I'm going to add that in.
Okay, fine. Okay. Anything else that you had?
That's it.
I think the language was, I know what she was saying, but we were correcting it, so.
Clearer.
Right, okay. Because actually, we're not, yes, we are plowing.
Yes.
Right, okay, and,
And also, I didn't want to imply that there are no turtles at all in the area.
right, in the area of the plant.
Yeah.
Got it, okay. Okay, so
They
can,
plow with disc.
It'll be that really deep plowing again, where they go way down and turn the whole thing over.
So the plan is to plant the meadow this year?
Spring, well, probably in the late summer, early fall.
Wow, so there's good headway with the mudwort kill.
Well, we'll see. We're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
let's get a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes. Second.
Okay, good, all right. Second, the third item on the list, okay, is our financial report. So, Coco, could you just bring it up on the screen so everyone can take a look at it who may be coming in by Zoom?
Sure.
I think it's the second slide. Okay.
So, Gordon, since this is, well, at least since I missed the January meeting, but I haven't heard Albert pronounce the name of the town correctly again.
Okay, let's hear it.
Albert. Manhansaka-Quashawamut.
You know,
Okay.
they don't teach that in school anymore.
That's required homework now. Everybody.
I know. It's part of signing the agreement, okay? Okay, this, in the February, you have it's February 30th, but we're giving this report in March. And we are now to the point, okay, where the funding of the checks for CPF have been separated, okay? So rather than, we used to keep a tally and we kept the log of what we were encumbering, okay, it being done on a monthly basis. So when we're showing here of our funds, our incoming funding, okay, it's 87,000 in our Chase working account is 87,101.71. That was the new funds that came in. So the check from CPF was obviously larger because we're taking out the 0.5% for community housing and 20% for the water quality improvement plan. So that's a net number, okay? The interest in that account was $2,924.68. There were expenses here, and I think you have the sheets on it, okay, that there were expenses of $25,720.61. And the second item down is payroll, okay? Third item down is payroll. So that account was left with a balance of $1,705,349.35. the New York class account, which was the high interest account that we put most of our funds into. Again, now this is these are CPF monies that have taken into account WQIP. So we no longer have to use a deduction. These are our net numbers for land acquisition. Is 8 million, starting off balance was 8,342,307. The interest for the month, okay, was 34,752.57. So the ending balance in that account, okay, is $8,377,060.25. And you'll notice that we no longer are itemizing a WQIP. And so our total balance that's available for community preservation for our land acquisition portion is $10,082,409.60. Okay. When we get to the point, which I suspect this year sometime, we'll be able again, we're always looking for what we've been spending on all of our properties. So we should have it, how our budget is running according to what we're spending. We don't have that at this particular time, but that 25,000 is spelled out in the documents that I think you have been given a copy of.
Gordon,
Yep.
what's not noted here, though, is the fact that some of this $10 million is already committed. So we're not showing an encumbrance for things that are in process, correct?
That is correct. That
Okay.
is correct. Okay.
And do we know what that encumbrance roughly is?
We know that encumbrance, okay, is, I will include, I think maybe you're right. I should include that in the financial report because this way everybody thinks we have $10 million to spend.
Right.
With the items that are in the acquisition process, okay, I would suspect we'd have probably close to $4.5 million
In process.
in progress, okay?
Right.
So,
Maybe at the executive session, since we can outline that.
yeah, we can outline that a bit, but I think you're right. I think we really should show that, okay, because it is misleading. And again, it's in various stages and these are really potential acquisitions. But they're in the pipeline.
But they're
Meaning
active, yes.
We're active and we're either in contracts or we are in serious negotiations with it.
Okay.
The other thing you will notice, okay, we didn't talk about, I think we did last month, okay, but you can see if you look in the January 31st column, okay, you will see that was where in January, that 33,241,473.45 was subtracted from community preservation because that was the money that we had always been putting aside for that WQIP. So that money was finally withdrawn. And again, they're going to operate separately, okay? And I don't have much more on that. Oh, no, I have one more thing here. Hold on a second. If we go to the next slide. Yeah, this is, I think you have a copy of it. This one right here, okay, I don't have it in front of me either, but
Okay.
basically, it just gives you an idea. I like to see the spreadsheet back from 2017, okay, which is when this board came on board. You can see in 2017, we had the funding at that particular time was 2 million. You can see the decrease that we're already seeing a trend. You know, our highest that CPF has ever received is $5 million back in 2021. This year, the prior year, 22, was 2,864,000. This year, we're ending out the year with 2,300,000 2,379,000. This is interesting because I think we may have to revisit this because that actually is really not the right number. The 87,000, okay, was from the last month, okay, but that, all these other numbers, I think were pre-20%,
These are the years.
meaning that WQ wasn't taken out. This is only like a new occurrence we have. So this number of 2,000,003, I think should be less, probably about 20%. Okay, but I will verify that for our next meeting, okay? But going forward, as we go into 2024, okay, those numbers, whatever we put in that column will be the net amount for CPF. So again, all those numbers were actually, should have been really less than 20%. But anyhow, you can see there's a trend, and we're going back almost to the year, we're going back to pre-20, I guess, for the most part, but we'll see. I mean,
2 million average, you think?
I think it'll be a while before we see $5 million again. Okay.
Well, there's interest.
The pandemic.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion to accept this?
Motion. Second.
All right. The other thing that we had is, I wanted to talk about the new website, just briefly, and I communicated with Coco during the week about having, I need some help with it because I'm struggling a little bit to get around in the website. And I know everybody's probably having, maybe having that problem, but we do have an IT department, and I think that Coco is offered to help anybody who has any issues with navigating the website. And I think, if I'm not wrong, if you have problems, I know some people have had problems even with their iPhones, or with their getting emails through the Shelter Island Town website. I think this is the time, okay? Coco, what do we have to do? Just contact you to make arrangements? Is there one day of a week that you?
I'm here every day from 8 until 4, and I'm happy to sit here and walk anyone through any areas or notify me any way they want to set up.
Okay.
So we have gotten some calls, so it's not unusual that people are struggling with certain website pages. Christina's put together a nice 5-minute review if you want to see that now.
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Okay, great.
Good morning. So I'll share the home screen over here, and I'll go through a couple items, the basics of the website. So this is the home page. It's very compact, just half scroll. And on the very bottom over here, you can access your email and a town SharePoint. So we try to adhere to the similar lingo that we had on the old website. So in the same fashion, you used to have 2 red buttons on the bottom. Now we have it over here on the side. You can also access the SharePoint as you used to through your page, CPF page. The CPF page is under drop-down menu under Government, CPF, and you have the same SharePoint link as you used to on the old website over here as well. All information from the old website has been transferred to the new website. By information, I mean documents, all the PDFs plus some new ones as we had the new audit, for example. So it's all here. Let's go back. The way to access agenda, CPF, and all others are in the agenda center down here, agenda and minutes. So in the drop-down menu over here, you can choose whether you want all or you just want specific category as a committees. CPF is always under committees. or some other group. When we scroll down, we will find today's meeting over here. After the meeting, the media over here will be added link to the YouTube of the specific meeting. And then later on next month, when the minutes are approved, they will be added over here under the minutes. So this is the basic overlook of the agenda center.
Christina, how far back are we going? Didn't we have a timeline that we were only going back so far?
In which way? What do you mean?
On the agendas and the minutes? Or is it-
Yes, yes, so we basically are moving forward only. We didn't transfer any old agendas, any old minutes besides the town board and planning and zoning board. So any committee that we have, the minutes and agendas have been not transferred into the new website. That being said, past 5 years, we've been building fairly robust digital library of our documents. And so if you need to access anything related to CPF, all of you have access to your CPF SharePoint. So all those agendas are there, or any other related documents. If you have a need for any other committee, you contact the town clerk and they can send you anything from the past 5 years within, very short period of the time. And anything older obviously needs a little longer research.
So that's basically going to the town clerk. There's no foiling with this information. It's just a question of asking for it, I'm assuming, correct?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. You can, under the records, you can always email the town clerk over here. This is where we access the FOIL. So you can contact respective departments. So the minutes or anything related to CPF, I would assume would be town clerk, not the building department.
But going back on the minutes, because we're going back just to 23, but if somebody wanted information on 22, okay, that's just a question of a request, and it's not.
Exactly.
I'm just talking out loud because I think people need to know it's not a FOIL request.
No, you can email or the CPF clerk or the town clerk. Yeah, it's information that we have accessible very quickly. It just the volume of the documents and the PDF that needed to be transferred into the new website was so massive that we only focus on applications and forms and different information minutes. It was just such a large volume. And on the top of that, we would need to recreate all calendars as well. So we simply decided that we're gonna move forward from this point, and anything older will be accessible only upon request.
Christina, one of the things I'm going to talk about today is I'd like to have another meeting of CPF. And so when you go into this thing, the process is still going through the town clerk as far as the time frame, what times are available, or is
Yes, yeah. Like, would you like to add a special meeting and you need to reserve the space? Is that the question?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. You can contact the town clerk or your clerk. It's which I know now it's tricky, but
Actually, with this new format you have, it should be pretty simple. If let's take hypothetically, I was looking for a time frame, I would almost see what time.
yeah,
are available.
to the extent, if we go to the calendar over here, we can again look at the various committees or also recreation center or senior center. So this is another feature. If we select this one, we can see the calendar over here. The problem with this is this calendar is public facing, therefore it does not include internal meetings. Therefore, let's say at 2 o'clock, I'm meeting with 2 people from the building department and town attorney and somebody else. That meeting wouldn't be listed here.
Okay, so it's still better just to go right directly to the town clerk. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So this is the calendar. That's another feature that I wanted to show. If you could click on the more details, we could access agenda through here as well as Zoom link. The one feature that this website has is notification. So if you click on this website sign in, anybody's eligible to sign in, any member of the public or the committee member, you can create an account over here. And once you create this account, you will be able to subscribe to any of these topics under the Notify Me feature. So you can sign up for our calendar features, any job postings, minutes, agendas. So for example, if the public agenda is posted, you will receive an email notification or text message.
So this is the new part of it that this is a new part where if someone wants, whether it's a committee member or the public, this is where you can connect and get follow information and much easier and be informed on an easier basis, right?
That is correct. So every agenda as it is posted, it is being sent out to the subscribers list. And also every update we can choose to send out. So yeah, this has been a great feature. And this was one of the main triggers why we went for this website.
There is no calendar that ties all the events that are going on Shelter Island, meaning the senior
Yeah, if you click over here, this is the calendar of the events. So these are all town events. So if
Okay.
something is organized by a historical society or by a library, you will not find it here. But all town organized events by the senior center or rec center, we can find over here. And you can select the period you're looking for, specific day. And that's about that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
How does everybody get their email? Do you get your email through the town website?
Yeah.
You don't.
No, go to Outlook.
You're not going through, you're not answering through the town website. You have your own Outlook.
I don't actually log in to the town website. I have to log into Outlook
Right.
to get it, yeah.
I used to too.
The same thing. I do the same.
I can't get it to work on my phone, the Outlook app, at least for that address.
You have to, through your phone, you have to constantly ask for a password or something.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get the town emails on my phone every time Catherine or whoever sends an email out, Gordon, whatever.
Yeah.
I get it on my phone.
Right.
I have like three different email addresses that I follow, one being the town, and it's all the emails are already there.
I think when I look at it, I think what I would like, I'm talking about myself personally, I think it's, and I don't know how the town or how the tech people feel here, but I think going through the website sometimes makes it a little easier because you can draw. Am I looking at it wrong? It's easier to maneuver or take documents and bring them into your various committees. And I just feel it's like maybe a safer way, but anyhow, just talking out loud. But I just want to make sure everybody knew there was that option.
It's really the only thing I use.
Huh?
The only thing I use is the town's website.
This way you don't have your own phone mixed up with, right.
It's probably the best way to do it.
Probably is the best way to do it, quite honestly, because it means that you're never going to be.
Shouldn't mix your own
You
personal
don't mix,
email.
exactly.
You don't want to do that.
I'm sorry, Christina.
No, it's a matter of a preference. I know even within the staff, some people access their email through the website, some through the app. It's really just a matter of the preference. The Outlook part of it hasn't changed. So that remains the same as it was on the old website. That part we haven't touched. So if you have any issues with password or something to that liking, you need to contact Kevin and he will reset a password for you. But that part hasn't been impacted by new website.
So the point of contact is we call, I didn't know whether we should call him directly or go through.
If you have a issue with password on your town email, that's something, yes, that Kevin can reset for you. And the best way is to email him or call him directly.
Any other questions, guys? Anybody with this? So if, I think that if we have questions, and I think it would be worthwhile, if you're having problems working with the new website, just if you spend like a half hour or something, come down to town hall and
Yeah.
connect, okay? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. The next item we have is, Tim, maybe we can just, we sort of started it before, but maybe a little update on the school project with West Neck. Okay.
Okay, I have two quick things. One is hopefully if we sign a purchase order today, we'll get some the black locust saplings at West Neck are going to be cut back either today or tomorrow, this afternoon or tomorrow. In the one section going towards the yield sign on, and the idea with that is just to get them out of there. It's really hard to walk through there and do any kind of management of that area because you keep getting hit by the thorns. And the other thing is we need to start managing those locust saplings. And then a really fun thing is I contacted the two science teachers at the school, Dan Williams and Sarah Fenig, who are very interested in doing a project with their students, monitoring the wildlife. This would be, I hope, a multi-year project where they would start with, let's say, I don't really know. I'm going to meet with them in the next week or two. So we haven't really talked about this in great detail yet about how they would go about this, but I'm hoping that they would be able to start monitoring what's there now. And then as, for instance, we got a meadow in there, what changes take place. I assuming we're going to have more insects coming in once the meadow starts taking off. And as we add more different types of tree species, more shrubs, I'm assuming the wildlife will become more abundant and more diverse. And that's it.
We're plowing, we sort of interrupt.
Oh, okay.
We're going to plow when now?
Probably I don't know, I think mid to the end of June.
Okay.
The turtles by that time will have already emerged from wherever they are. The winter wheat is actually, it did survive the winter. And it'll probably start growing again as the weather gets warmer, it keeps warming up.
That's what's popping up right now.
Yeah, it's actually never went away. It came up about this far
Yeah,
and then it kind of stopped.
right.
But I'm assuming once it'll start growing higher. But by June, I can imagine it'll be like this high. It won't be really high. So we'll be able to go in there and see what's actually, if there's anything in there, I can just walk through there and make sure nothing's in there before they plow. That will be easy. And
You're gonna plow the same section
the same section with the mugwort is growing.
and in the summertime, you're gonna do that.
That'll be, I think, mid-June.
Cool.
Then they're gonna till it, I think, once or twice. And then hopefully the mugwort will be really under control
Yeah,
with
nice.
the idea of seeding it in, I think, the fall to start a meadow there.
Excellent. Excellent.
Tim,
Yeah.
you had mentioned that there were a few areas that you wish you had done the last time you plowed. Are you going to be adding those in?
Yes, it's not that big. It's yeah, there's about I don't know. Yeah, there's a section there which I think we probably will want to just get that mugwort out too, but it's not enormous.
Okay.
And the only other thing I want to do is I just want to slightly tweak the current trail. There's a nice section of broom sedge and little blue stem grass that's growing very nicely in where the trail was. And I'd really like to keep that and just bypass that a little bit and It's just one little small section of the trail. That's it.
Yes. Okay. The next item is, I've gotten into a little bit of history, okay, with, and it sort of led me into this next topic, which well, let me go to the next one, which is, next slide, which is, Coco, which is Mildred Flower Hurd. I think it's right after the financial part. There should be 2 slides.
That's it right there.
This one right here, okay. I don't know whether people, this, we got the, we have the, there was one piece of property. Go to the next slide. Okay, this is the Mildred Flower Hurd location here in this corner. These are the 2 pieces of property. These are the 2 pieces of property. This is Mildred Flower Hurd west. This is east, okay? Right. And this is the piece that has like a corner that goes over into Overlook, okay? There was property, oops,
Sorry.
It wasn't showing up on Zoom. Just resharing.
anyhow, when the property was acquired, for some reason or other, we only had like a diamond, a point on Overlook Road, okay? There were 2 little pieces of property there that were still in Esther Hunt's name, okay? And she relayed those properties over to Suffolk County, which means it's part of our preserve, okay? So now we have full access from Overlook, okay? So it really is, we were actually, when we had the deer, when we had the deer post there with we had, our trucks were driving over somebody else's property. So now at least we have a pure access to that area. So I just wanted everybody to be aware of it. We have to make a modification to the stewardship plan that we should make some kind of a statement and make sure it's included into that plan, okay? But I just thought you'd want to know.
What's
103 acres?
this little triangle area?
That's what
That's
we
what-
just talked about.
Okay.
And then the 17 acres is the Mildred Hurd now.
Ah,
It only came to the road like a triangle, so we didn't have full road access. So now you have like a 12-foot access off of, inside that community to get to that property.
I guess that was done a while ago.
No, well, they've been working on it anyhow, but it's done, okay? Let's go to the next slide, because I'm gonna talk on the soapbox here a little bit, okay? Let's go down the next one. I brought this up, okay? It's interesting, and I'm bringing this up because it has to deal with preserved land, okay? I was going through some things at the Historical Society, and so I'm rambling, but let me, so what happens is there's a book that's being put together. It's called This Land Is Your Land, okay? Tim Patel, Kathy Kenny, our 8th member of our unofficial 8th member is Ed Schillingberg, okay, who is our archivist, okay, for the Shelter Island Historical Society, and he's somebody that I rely on a lot of time to get history. But they came across this thing, and I just thought it was pretty interesting. So people who have some misunderstanding about CPF and protection of land, this was something that went back into the 60s over having an airport on Mashamak. Okay, and
And a golf course.
and a golf course, and I just thought it sort of caught my eye, and I said, it shows you that what has happened if we don't control growth, and not that you can't stop growth, but we just have to balance it, okay? And how this could have been. I guess Griffin was the supervisor at the time, and so they really, you must have remembered this.
Yeah.
I don't think it went back that far. So I can't,
60s.
it's hard to imagine having an airport down in Mashamak. But anyhow, I just thought it was an interesting piece, okay, that we're, just bring it up to your attention. What's the next slide that I put in there also? One more, Coco. This is what it was going to look like. Okay, kind of amazing to have a long airport in Mashamak. Okay, so obviously that never happened. Okay, but you can see the thinking of development and how we have to have smart development, and I mean that's the goal of community preservation, is to preserve land. Okay, and a lot of the good that's been preserved. That wasn't our committee or CPF, but these are really very smart people who protected that land. Okay, and I'm just bringing it out as a point of information, which leads me to talk about. We have a public hearing on the 18th of this month on the Tuttle property over on South Midway, okay? And, I was looking ahead, I have all this information on this as a result of these YouTube guys and from Ed Schillingberg. And it's really quite amazing that the Tuttle family, okay? And I think sometimes we acquire property, we don't really know the whole history of it. And I think that's pretty important, okay? Because it is part of the criteria in buying property, okay? I think, can you go to the next slide? Okay, this is a shot of Turcom's Neck, okay? And you probably have a hard time seeing it, and unless you had a physical map, you wouldn't recognize it, but I'm bringing it up because of the history of the Tuttle family on Shelter Island. Turcom's Neck was totally owned by, and it was totally owned, okay, by the Tuttle family. So even the Turcom's Rest, which we have, Kima, which is the Rob Nickel property, the beach, all of that stuff was owned by the Tuttle family, okay?
Including Wade's Beach.
Wade's Beach, okay? And I just think it's pretty amazing that we have a lot of amazing people here who have brought their property forward, okay, for preservation. And yes, there's a monetary exchange, but they have had other opportunities to do something else with the property, okay? And I just think they're amazing people. And this property, I'm not going to go through all of this, but I have a sheet here that basically goes back to Tuttle Wallace. It goes back from the Manhansan Indians, and it has a thread that goes all the way up until this time, okay, and it shows how that property evolved from Nathan Sylvester to finally George Havens. Then it went to Captain Jacob Havens, and then the Tuttle family had possession of it in the 1800s. And obviously today it's owned by Laura Tuttle and John Needham, okay? And I think we're really fortunate to be able to have this piece. And, the other part is that it was really Tuttle Farm, okay? And the creek was not Dickinson Creek, it was Tuttle Creek, okay? And what you folks came up with, which is pretty interesting, is that there were so many Tuttle properties that they changed the creek from Tuttle Creek to Dickinson Creek, and that was part of the acquisition when the beach was taken over. Okay, and so really years ago it was Tuttle Creek, not Dickinson Creek. Okay, just information. I just thought it was pretty important, and I think we're very lucky to have there should be another slide. As I think, no? Yes, this even shows really more of the beach, where the Tuttles had actually Wade's Beach. They own Wade's Beach. Okay, and at the time, correct me if I'm speaking wrong, Tim or Kathy, but wasn't that was when we did Sachem Woods, that's when when the beach was taken over by the town, is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay, so, but anyhow, the Tuttle family has a long history, and I think it's, they had the Tuttle family, a different side of the family owned all around Island, okay? So I just think it's, I just wanted to talk about this Tuttle acquisition, and I hope everybody turns out to the public hearing. And I think it's a great, has a lot of history to it. And people don't know, sometimes they don't know how active people are behind the scenes. And I probably would be embarrassing John and Laura, but even during the acquisition, the town did with Turkham's Rest, okay, they contributed to it financially. So we don't always hear these things, okay? And I'm just saying to you, they had other choices, okay, with this acquisition, okay, they could have sold it for development. I think we're really lucky to be able to put this into our open space program.
historical property.
It's historical, and Kima was basically, which was the Robb property, that was also part of the Tuttle property. Okay, so I mean, I have all this document, I'm not going to go through it, but we get into acquisitions and sometimes people don't understand the background, but the book that you two guys, or the five of you folks are working on, will be coming out in the Historical Society. It's going to be quite amazing. Obviously I've seen the preview of it, and it'll be not only about community preservation, but it will also include all the history of a lot of the property. So I think we'll talk further as that we move on with it. Okay?
Gordon, is there a date yet for the hearing?
It's March 18th.
March 18th.
Okay, that's the public hearing. Okay. Okay, let's see what we got next here.
Saturday evening meeting.
Yes. It's on, Monday, the 18th, I believe, should be a Monday evening at 6 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to spend a brief minute with the CPF acquisition plan. I thought I was going to start trouble today, okay, and hopefully I'm not starting any trouble, because I didn't realize, okay, I was going to, enough time has gone by. I modified, I'm not going to go through the plan today. And what I want to do, okay, since I have input from everybody, I think right now we should have a meeting that's strictly on the acquisition plan and go over it page by page. And this way we can submit it to the town board, okay, and see where that lays in, okay? But just some comments that I had that I was going to put in here, and I didn't realize that it already has been in progress. But my feeling was that there should be CPF should be separated from WQIP. I didn't realize that you jumped me on this one. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Amber. Okay, and so basically we have three pieces of CPF today. We have obviously where the checks are coming in as CPF. So you have affordable housing, you have WQIP, and CPF. I think by taking out the WQIP and just dealing with our portion of CPF, community preservation, the plans have been very complicated. You didn't know where one piece landed, what we were talking about. So what I did is I separated as best I could. Okay, and I want to go over that. Hopefully we can have a meeting in the next couple of weeks as a special meeting and go over it. The other thing is what I want to do is I want to attach the 64E legislation to it as an easy reference so that we don't have to go around. It should be there because we always seem to reference it and what is it saying? What is it not saying? The public doesn't know, or the public knows, but it takes a lot of time to really decipher some of that information. I'll just give you some of the overview of things that I came across. Okay, this whole thing of the way I've had so many drafts of the acquisition plan, so I mean, I have them all here. I got 6 of them right here, so it's been modified. But one of the things I want to do is it has been calling for this, having the maintenance budget in the stewardship plan. We made a decision way back when, and with all of our properties, that we weren't including the maintenance plan in the stewardship plan. We were going to put our maintenance plan, it will call for maintenance, okay, and spell out all the intricacies of the stewardship plan, but we prepare an annual budget of all of our properties, of what we're expending on each property, and then we submit it to the town board for their approval. And we've spelled out, really, if we're spending $10, let's assume that I'm using around $100 for a particular piece of property, we put a budget sheet together and we say we're going to spend $10, and this is what we spell out what we're using it for, okay? So I think we've been that's one of the things that I'm going to recommend, okay? The other thing that I thought was important to add, which was not there, and again, maybe I'm repeating something that was there, but the copy that I had, we're talking about reestablishing the Peconic Bay Community Preservation Fund Advisory Opinions Board, okay, and with the 5 East End towns, but in that language, it was missing, and we did it. I think, Chuck, you have had the most experience with it, because since I've been here, that board has not been in place, but
Yeah,
I think it's important if they do establish it, that not only a member of the town board, but someone from our committee be present
Right.
with that.
I always went with to Lori Dowd.
Lori down, okay. Okay, the other part was, I thought it would be important to attach a community preservation acquisition plan procedure to the plan. This way the public knows exactly what we're doing with it. The updating of the CPF rating system, okay, to be more reflective of the island's needs. It's funny, I have six alterations here. And when you look at it, okay, and I have the recommendations, okay, but like, for example, we talk about aquifer protection, okay? And I think it really should be aquifer recharge as well, okay? Because I think that is, I don't know about the semantics, but it just seemed like we are really acquiring it for protection, but also for recharge. And the other part was the pointing system.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to spend time on that because it's 100 points on that rating system, but for aquifer recharge, I'm only showing 5 points. And I'm saying, and if you look at some of the other things that, like farmland and stuff like that, we don't have any farmland, so
Yeah.
I think it really needs to be updated. So I made some suggestions. So what I am looking to do is to have a special meeting.
Are you gonna, I just took notes. Are you gonna send that out
Yes,
to us?
yes.
And
Okay.
we got the most recent draft.
I'm going to give you the draft that I have, okay? So what I did is, and the other part is we list every single piece of property that has buildings and everything else. I was able to get from the assessor's office all the open space property that we have, okay? But I'll send it out, and I would like to arrange for a meeting before our April meeting, okay? So that we can be prepared to provide it to the town board.
Put some page numbers on.
With the page numbers on, right, okay. The only thing in the,
Is your draft dated?
yes, mine is big.
No,
Are you being cute with me?
No, I just want to make sure we have the most recent draft.
Yes, I did clean it, I'll get it out, but I just wanted to talk briefly about it, and I think that we should have that together. The other thing that was interesting is, I guess the only, probably a little bit of a controversial issue that I have is that, we have, and again, our procedure plan talks about a town engineer, which we've used in the past to review our properties, okay? And I just want to make sure, I guess since I have two board members here, I'm going to throw it out, okay, that when we were dealing with properties in the past or recent properties, okay, there was some issue of not releasing information to the committee. It had to go through the town board. I know that this is old hat, and I'm not looking to bring up old stories, okay, but I think that we should have access. The town engineer works for everyone, and we're not I don't know why he can't release information to us, okay? And that's one of the things, but we can talk about that at another time, okay?
Well, the engineer also didn't seem to know what he was looking for.
No, he knew what he was looking for. Let's not do this, okay? All I'm saying is that we really, we should be able to get access to the information, but it was like, we had something that took place where he was unable to, but we're going to change this. We're in a new rule, okay? And I think, speaking for myself, I think that the new board has done a good job, and I really like the meetings, okay? And I'm gonna, I try to do this in our own meetings, okay? So I'm done with with it right now. Do we have any new business before I open this up to the public, okay? For any comment? Does anybody have anything new they want to bring up? Okay, so let me bring it out to the floor, okay? Does anybody on the floor have any questions about community preservation or this public meeting that we had today? Let's see who's on. Julie, do you have any questions? Julie Lane?
I don't have right now. I do want to do more with the history, obviously, of the Tuttle property.
I'm going to send you a whole bunch of stuff today, Julie. Okay.
Terrific.
Okay, and we'll go from there.
Great, thanks.
On that point, okay, I'd like to make a motion. We go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Let's go into executive session, and